Trump is now crowing about a silent majority supposedly supporting everything that he's doing. But the issue is that when you talk to the American people, it turns out that they aren't actually silent. They want to talk about Donald Trump. It's just that they don't really like him, actually, and increasingly so. I want to show you some of this. Half of Americans say that Trump's actions thus far have been worse than they expected. And when you hear that, just bear in mind, this was their expectation of Donald Trump, and it's still worse. This is worse than they thought the guy who did the insurrection was going to do. Now, overall, he's at a 37% approval rating in Pew. That's terrible. Only 21% think that he's doing better than they thought, and every MAGA person is desperate to answer that on a poll, but only 21% could actually bring themselves to do it. 50% say worse, and the percent who support all or most of Donald Trump's policies and plans is at 27%. This is wildly unpopular 1 year after the guy gets reelected. But it's not just his policies. Importantly, they don't trust him specifically. So when you ask, do you have confidence in him on these like personal qualities, like his leadership skills? Not too much confidence, or not at all, is the majority position. Only 1/3 have a lot of confidence in his leadership, and it goes down from there. His mental fitness, he's at 32% extreme confidence. Physical fitness, 28. That's probably the fault of the Cankles, I would guess. Picks good advisors, 25. Even MAGA at this point, it's like, no, he doesn't pick good people. Respects the country's democratic values is at 25. And acts ethically in office, 21. He doesn't even have the most rock-solid core MAGA on whether he acts ethically in office. He's at 21%. But that's fine. Here's the shocker, the real shocker, I think. Republican confidence in him respecting our democratic values, acting ethically, it is abruptly going down. Republicans have dropped 13 points on whether they think he will act ethically in the last 11 months. That's a pretty sharp drop for people who already had the better part of a decade of experience from which to evaluate that the first time. They already had him in office 4 years, and still they've been shocked by what they've seen. Respect for the democratic values, that has dropped among Republicans by 8 points. There's basically no independents left at this point on these things. Has the mental fitness needed to do the job? He's lost 9 points among Republicans in the first year of his presidency. And look, are those numbers still too high for the Republicans? Yes, they are definitely too high. But they've dropped by a measurable amount in just 1 year. And importantly, this should be a wake-up call for other elected Republicans. Because when you ask people, should members of Congress be obligated to support Donald Trump even if they disagree with him, people are moving towards no, have an actual backbone. When you look at this from February last year to January this year, the percent who think that they have an obligation to support him, this is Republicans or leaning Republicans, has dropped from 44 to 38. 61% now say, no, you don't have an obligation to support him, so maybe grow a damn backbone. Jared, what do you think?
It's all over the place, and I think as we're seeing, everything that they destroy, as much as people still try to, defend him, every time that they try and assist him, they make it even worse. So even all they have to do is be somewhat competent in their lies, somewhat consistent in their lies, and all these sycophants would actually stay on board. But, they're not believing Democrats or independents or anybody that's saying the truth about what's happening. They're actually watching, their Fuhrer, and they're hoping that he'll say and do the right things to continue to keep their support. And they're not even good at keeping that. They're destroying their own base. It's not like people are being convinced by, Hakeem Jeffries. Hakeem Jeffries ain't said nothing that's convinced anyone of anything. Chuck Schumer ain't said nothing that's convinced anyone of anything. They're so bad at this that they're telling their own followers how much they suck. I watched and looked at so many. I got tired of looking at it. So many well-known, prominent people who either supported Donald Trump or were big-time MAGA folks previous to this that are downplaying it, saying how horrible this is. They're evil people. They're pedophiles. All this, all over X, even that place, to talk about how horrible he is. The downside to this happening to this degree is that we have to all suffer through this chaos in order for these people who are so brain dead to figure out what it is that we're seeing.
Yeah.
That we all have to suffer before they go, oh, you mean the economy sucks? Oh, you mean we have no jobs? Let's give them another year of sucking before we actually have something where we do something about it. Well, I don't
Yeah.
know if I think we're still a year from doing something.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, hopefully by the election at the end of this year. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, I get it. I feel the same way. I'm shocked that people still had to learn this, but at least some are learning it.